Usually in cases like this, what happens is the plaintiff files their claims, then the defense is given the opportunity to ultimately move to dismiss.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence, in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony. In other words, her testimony won't even count, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case. Everything she's saying in her amended complaint is really from her. There's not a whole lot of documentary evidence we've seen to support the claims that are made in her complaint, like you see with Justin Baldoni's complaint, where there's extensive documentary evidence backing it up. So her testimony is super important in this case. And if you can show the jury that she's lied, juries don't like liars.
Counsel for Mr. Lively, Ryan Reynolds, stated their objection to the Wayfarer party's lead counsel conducting the deposition of Blake Lively. She really does think she's like, gets to choose which of the opponent's attorneys she gets to talk to. Clearly, Justin's legal team wisely decided to call it out because it adds and goes to the image that Blake is seen as, which is entitled and completely out of her mind.
Breaking news, Blake Lively's team just filed their response to the Justin Baldoni lawsuit. Is it late? Well, this is rich. Blake Lively's team had all day to file their response and waited until the last possible second.
The first line, the first thing that's said is from Blake Lively. And what is it? It's a director note. She says, maybe we should stand back because we're not on our marks and they could see the light behind you. She said that. He leans in and he gets really close to her ear and he almost like whispers it to her very softly. And we might look at that and go, why did he say it like that? Why didn't he just tell her? And there's a very good reason for this. They're both very aware of the fact that we're only going to use the visuals of this, not what they're saying. And the really big distinction that we really have to be mindful of at this point is the difference between her feeling uncomfortable and him objectively doing something to cause her to feel uncomfortable.
She lied in their minds about what occurred during that dancing scene because she wasn't aware that there was audio that would maybe explain and give some context to what was happening there. She changes the view of it a little bit because she has to, because you can't contest the audio.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively dancing together. What did you take from that when you watched it?
I just thought he was acting. From what I could see is that he sort of moved in and out of his role.
No more entering Blake's trailer when she was not wearing clothing. No more comments about Blake's appearance. An intimacy coordinator must be present anytime Blake was performing a scene with Justin, and there would be no retaliation based on Blake's accusations. The studio agreed to all Blake's demands.
The intention isn't even to one day win in court, to win in litigation. It's to make a huge media splash.
I mean, Blake, the writing doesn't look good from my perspective and from what I've read in the legal documents on both sides. But I mean, unless she has some sort of smoking gun that she's been hiding for the last couple of months, it's not looking too good from her. And I think even with Hollywood kind of not really wanting to pose with them or come out and publicly support them like they did initially, you know, now that he's come out with his side of things, people kind of seem to be distancing.
Have you heard what just went down in court? Because if you haven't, buckle up. This is one of the messiest, most shocking celebrity courtroom meltdowns in recent history. And trust me, no one saw this coming. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, two names you'd never expect to be caught in a legal war, are now at the center of a lawsuit so chaotic that people are calling it Hollywood's biggest courtroom disaster of the year. You're not going to believe the accusations flying around, the behind-the-scenes drama, and the way Justin completely obliterated Blake in court. It's the kind of showdown that makes you wonder, was this brewing for years, or did everything just explode overnight? The internet is already losing its mind, and the courtroom footage? Let's just say, if you thought celebrity feuds were wild before, this one just set a whole new bar. So, what happened? Why are two A-listers, known for their wholesome images, suddenly locked in a nasty legal battle? And more importantly, why did Blake completely break down when Justin dropped the ultimate bombshell in court? Rumors started swirling when legal documents leaked, showing that Justin had filed a lawsuit against Blake. At first, everyone assumed it was some minor Hollywood dispute, maybe a contract issue, maybe something to do with production rights. But no, this was personal. And when the details finally surfaced, the entire industry was stunned. Turns out, Justin accused Blake of something no one expected, something that not only put her career at risk but could also completely destroy the perfect image she spent years crafting. According to sources close to the case, Justin's legal team came prepared with receipts, hard evidence, and testimony that had Blake visibly shaken in court. And the moment he took the stand, it was game over. Courtroom insiders say that the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Blake's lawyers tried to regain control, but Justin's team was relentless. And when he finally spoke, the entire room was left in stunned silence. He didn't just present his case, he completely exposed Blake in a way no one saw coming. Witnesses say she turned pale, looked visibly distressed, and at one point, even wiped away tears as Justin's words hit her like a ton of bricks. The courtroom chaos didn't stop there. Reports say that as the case progressed, more and more damaging details started coming out. Suddenly, it wasn't just about what Justin was accusing Blake of, it was about what she had allegedly done behind closed doors, things that could ruin her Hollywood reputation for good. And let's be real, we all know Blake Lively as America's sweetheart, the elegant and graceful actress who seems to have the perfect life, the perfect marriage, and the perfect career. But if the claims Justin made are even half true, that image is about to be shattered beyond repair. So, what exactly did Justin accuse her of? And why is this case turning into a complete PR nightmare for Blake? Some sources say it's linked to a major behind-the-scenes Hollywood scandal, one that involves contracts, hidden agendas, and betrayal at the highest level. Others claim it's even deeper than that, hinting at a long history of manipulation and power moves that no one saw coming. But here's where things get even crazier. As if the courtroom drama wasn't explosive enough, new reports are saying that Blake's legal team is desperately trying to reach a settlement before things spiral even further out of control. Why? Because apparently, there's even more dirt that hasn't been revealed yet, details so damaging that they could completely derail Blake's career. And Justin? He's not backing down. In fact, insiders say he's prepared to take this all the way to the bitter end, no matter how ugly it gets. His confidence in court? Unshakable. Witnesses say he delivered his testimony with such precision and calmness that it left Blake's team scrambling for a response. And the worst part? The judge seemed to be leaning in his favor. Now, here's the real kicker, social media is having an absolute meltdown over this case. Fans are split. Some are rallying behind Justin, praising him for standing up and taking legal action. Others are in complete disbelief, refusing to accept that Blake could be involved in something so scandalous. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, you name it, it's flooded with theories, leaked snippets, and wild speculations about what's really happening behind closed doors. And let's talk about Hollywood's reaction. Absolute chaos. Studios, A-list celebrities, and top executives are scrambling, trying to figure out what this case means for the future of two of the industry's most well-respected stars. And the drama isn't just unfolding in the courtroom, behind the scenes, the fallout is getting worse by the day. Industry insiders are whispering that this case could be a career killer. For Blake, the stakes couldn't be higher. She spent years crafting the perfect image, America's sweetheart, the elegant actress with the picture-perfect marriage. But if the claims in this lawsuit stick, that reputation could come crashing down. And Hollywood? They're panicking. Major brands and endorsement deals are already being reconsidered. Insiders say that several luxury brands are closely monitoring the case, and some have even started pulling promotional materials featuring Blake. No official statements yet, but let's be real, when brands start going silent, it's never a good sign. On the other hand, Justin is gaining momentum in ways no one saw coming. The way he handled himself in court? The confidence? The hard-hitting evidence? It's got people talking. Industry executives are reportedly impressed with his composure and how unshaken he's remained throughout the chaos. Some are even saying that this case could elevate his career, turning him into a Hollywood power player overnight. But here's where things get really messy. Celebrities are picking sides, and it's causing major division in Hollywood. Some of Blake's closest friends are standing by her, publicly defending her and insisting she's the real victim in all of this. A few A-listers have even taken to social media, throwing shade at Justin and calling the lawsuit a desperate move. But then there's the other side, the ones who have stayed completely silent. And in Hollywood, silence speaks volumes. The fact that some of Blake's usual supporters haven't said a word? It's making people wonder, do they know something the public doesn't? Are they trying to distance themselves before things get worse? And let's talk about the power players behind the scenes. Executives at top production companies are said to be deeply concerned about the impact this case could have on upcoming projects. Blake was reportedly in talks for several high-profile roles, but now? Some of those deals are on hold until the trial is over. Translation: Hollywood is worried, and no one wants to take a risk on a star caught in a legal mess. Even worse, sources are saying that some of Blake's close Hollywood connections, directors, producers, and former co-stars, are privately expressing doubts about her case. Not because they don't believe her, but because they're terrified of getting dragged into the scandal themselves. Hollywood is built on reputation, and no one wants to be associated with a lawsuit that could explode into something even bigger. And then there's the social media disaster. While Blake still has a strong fan base defending her, the internet is ruthless. Hashtags like hashtag Blake Lively exposed and hashtag Justice for Justin have started trending, and the memes? Brutal. Fans are dissecting every courtroom moment, analyzing body language, and debating whether Blake's emotional breakdown in court was genuine or a strategic move. And if that wasn't bad enough, some of Blake's past controversies are resurfacing. Old interviews, questionable statements, and even past feuds are being dragged back into the spotlight. People are connecting the dots, trying to figure out if this lawsuit is just the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, Justin's team is playing this perfectly. No messy social media rants, no dramatic interviews, just cold, hard facts presented in court. And Hollywood. They're noticing. Sources say that some of the industry's biggest decision makers are quietly reaching out to him, offering support and even future collaborations. But here's the big question: how does this end? Will Blake be able to fight back and clear her name? Or has Justin already won the war before the final ruling even happens? With every passing day, new details are coming out, and from the looks of it, things are only going to get worse. One thing is for sure, this lawsuit has officially become one of Hollywood's biggest bombshells of the decade. And if you thought it was over, think again. Because according to sources, the next court hearing is going to be even more explosive than the last. If you thought Blake's breakdown was bad, just wait until you hear what's coming next. So, what do you think? Is Blake really guilty of everything Justin is accusing her of? Or is there another twist waiting just around the corner? One thing's for sure, Hollywood drama has never been this intense. Stay tuned, because this courtroom battle is far from over.